Hey guys, welcome to another Project Euler tutorial. This is problem 11, largest product in a grid. In the 20 by 20 grid below, four numbers along a diagonal line have been marked in red. The product is that number right there. What is the greatest product of four adjacent numbers in the same direction in the 20 by 20 grid? Guys, I'm going to rush through this. I have done this countless times before, actually more like 3, and my headphones stopped working each time, and I'm becoming increasingly frustrated. I'm sorry. This is a very long problem anyway, so just bear with me as we get through this. So first thing, you want to get this whole thing, let's minimize that, into an array such as this. I have spent like 5 minutes doing this, so hopefully you can pause the video or something and get that done a while. Next, you're going to need a variable to hold the product, or the highest product to be more exact. So we'll just call that h product for highest product. And we'll set that one equal to 0. Next, you want to traverse the array, both the rows and the columns. So for in row equals 0, row is less than array.length row plus plus, and then to go through the columns, you want to say int col equals 0, col is less than array at row.length col plus plus. The reason you want to say array at row is because it's possible to have columns of varying sizes in a multi-dimensional array. I cannot do something like that practically, so I will never actually use that, but it's a fun little fact for you guys. Okay, now that we have a loop going through the rows and the columns, what do we want? Well, we want to find four adjacent numbers, so numbers right beside each other. We want to find their product. And we want to test those products to see which one's the highest. And once we find the highest among the four ways, which would be horizontal, vertical, and both diagonals, we want to test that highest product against the highest one so far. So we're going to need a temporary variable. So int temp. And then what do we want it to equal? Well, we want it to equal the maximum value. You may be thinking, Tyler, this function only has 2 arguments. How are we going to test it against 4? Well, we're actually going to nest these math.max statements. So we're going to have math.max of the math.max of the check horizontal. And we didn't make these methods, but we're going to. So we're going to send down the array, the row, and the column. And you'll see why. And the check vertical. I'll just call it check vert. Okay, so we have the maximum value of horizontal and vertical. So we also want the maximum value of the 2 diagonals. So math.max, check r diag, array, row, column, and check L diag, array, row, column. There we go. So now that we have the maximum value of all of these, what do we want to do? Well, we want to test this temporary variable against our highest one so far. So what we're going to do is say h product equals, is the temporary variable greater than the product we have so far? If so, temporary variable is our new highest product, so we're going to set highest product equal to temporary variable. Otherwise, we're just going to reassign the highest product. Now that that's done, we can just come down here, system.out.printf, the highest product in the grid is %d %n. I did a quick reference on printf and string.format. So if you want to look at that video or even check out the websites to familiarize yourself with it, go ahead. I'm I've just noticed this in my voice. I am sorry for my I forget what it's called. My lisp. There you go. I'm sorry for my lisp. I've just noticed it myself. Each product. So there we go. This is done. Next, we're going to do the methods. Okay, now to start with our methods. Sorry, I had to take a short little break. I needed to clear my nerves and drink some coffee and do some yoga, and I'm out of making things up. I made all that up. So let's get started with, let's do the horizontal first. So public static int check hors. In A, this is going to be our multi-dimensional array. Int row, int column. So what do we want to do in this method? Well, we're going to be checking rightward because I feel like checking it rightward. But the problem is, once we get here, we might overstep the rightward bound. So the first thing we want to do in this method is check to see if we're within our bounds. So, and the way we do this is just if it's over the length, then we're just going to return 0. So if column plus 3 is greater than or equal to a at row dot length, return 0. That's all we have to do to check our bounds. So we need a variable for our product. We're going to set that equal to 1. If it was 0, then it will return 0 every time. I made that mistake the first time around, and I couldn't get the problem right to save my life, but I finally figured it out. So for int I, call it C, for int C equals column, C is less than or equal to column plus 3, C++. The product times equal, which also means product equals product times A at row and C. Return product. And that's all we need to do for our horizontal. See, that's pretty simple. Public static int check vert. So what do we want to do here? Well, we're checking downwards. So we want to make sure we don't go below our bottom threshold. That's the only thing we have to worry about here. So if row plus 3 is greater than or equal to a dot length, return 0. Otherwise, we're just going to do the same thing as we did in horizontal. Equals 1 for int r equals row. Row is less than or equal to, r is less than or equal to row plus 3, r plus plus. Product times equals a at r and then c. I'm at the column. Return product. Man, my brain is a jumbled mess right now. Public static int check r diag. Okay. So for the right diagonal, we want to check two things. We have two scenarios that might lead to an error. One scenario is overstepping the rightward bound, since we're going down and to the right. So if we're, say, right here, or let's just make it easy at the very end, if we go down and to the right, there's no number there, so that's an error. Another error we might encounter is going below the bottom threshold. So if we're right here, going down to the right, and then going down and to the right again, there's no number there. So we want to check both of those scenarios. So if row plus 3 is greater than or equal to a dot length, Or if column plus 3 greater than or equal to a at row dot length, return 0. We're going to return 0 if either of them are true. Otherwise, we're going to have three variables. The product, then we're going to have two temporary variables, one for the row and one for the column. Down here, while C is less than or equal to column plus 3, and R is less than or equal to row plus 3. This is basically a for loop, but testing both of these scenarios. I could have made it into a for loop, but I thought it'd be easier for you guys to understand it this way. So product times equals A at R and C, R plus plus, C plus plus, return product. Down. Geez, I almost hit my headphone thing again. Public static and check left diag. So this is the same as the right one, except instead of the rightward bound, we want to make sure we don't go over the leftward bound. So instead of checking the length, we're going to make sure it's greater than 0. The column is greater than 0. So if row plus 3 greater than or equal to a dot length, or column minus 3 is less than 0. Remember, 0 is the starting point, so if anything is less than 0, then we automatically need to return 0. Return 0. Otherwise, we're going to have the same thing. Product equals 1, and R equals row, and C equals column, while product times equals, oh, not yet, getting ahead of myself. While R is less than or equal to row plus 3, and C is greater than or equal to column minus 3. We want the product to times equal A at R and C. We're going to increment R, but we're going to decrement C since we need to subtract it to go left. And then down here, return product. And this should be good. We should get the correct answer here. The highest product in the grid is 70,600,674. Is that true? Maybe it's true. 70,600,000. That is true. Thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry this has been an extremely long video. There is going to be another one. I forget what number it is. That's going to be even longer. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope I taught some of you something, or at least guided you in the right direction. If you want more videos, please subscribe. I'm going to be working on your next Project Euler tutorial very soon. Thank you for watching, and come again.